So back in Maya again. We've done the bug character and we've got him, and so we need to sort of like look at a little environment for him. So first things, just so we can make things to scale, his scale. I mean, he's not to scale. He's probably only about 4 centimeters tall or something. In fact, we can find out how tall he is because we can just go, right, he's finished and he's in a separate scene, and so he's nice and safe. So we can borrow him into this one and build the world around him, and we know what size it's got to be because we can bring him in. If I go right click here in an empty bit without anything selected and go reference, create reference, I can go back and go bug posed reference, and it pulls him in, and it looks like he's not got any textures, but that's because we haven't hit 6, because it's not the scene that he's in. This is a fresh scene, and so we're borrowing him in from a separate scene. So if we do any edits to this, it's not going to damage the original file, and that's safe. You can see the display is everything's in, so we'll go show viewport display, and we'll go none, and then go show viewport display. We'll have the left curves, and we'll also have polygons, because that's mainly what we're going to be working with. So there's our guy, and so first off I'm going to stand him on something. So I'm going to go poly modeling, give him a box. Right, so general tips and tricks is always unwrap on the fly. Do it as you model, because otherwise, let's go height. Let's go 0.3. Maybe a bit thicker. 5. Width 10. No, that's not big enough, is it? Width 20. There we go. And depth. Ooh, let's go 50. What's that? Is that sufficient of a bit of floor? Right, so we need to come down a little bit. So he's 0.5, so minus 0.25. Yeah, it is where it should be. Right, there's our guy. I don't want it to be absolutely kind of like digitally purely flat. Smoothing at the moment gives you that, so obviously we need some stuff in there. So subdivisions height, I'm going to put in 2, and then I can use those for put creases around the edge. Subdivisions depth. That subdivisions with a few. So if I go to edge, let's kill soft selection. So double click there, shift double click there, and then I can just scale those 2 out until they become edge creases. That one, shift that one, and scale those away from each other. And then we can just sort of spread these out evenly. There might easily be quicker ways of doing that, but I can't. That'll do. And so we've got enough space for him to run around on. If I go object mode, so he can come forward in there. Okay, fine. So smoothing is that. Right, okay, so I might nudge it around a little bit so I can go vertex. These guys will go B. And I can give it a little bit of a wiggle. Not a lot, because I don't want to be messing his feet positions up too much. But just enough for it to not look digitally absolutely flat. something like that. I've got a little bit of wiggle on it. Right, it's got its box layout. So I mean, you could go to modelling and go UV editor. It's got that, so we could, you could just go unfold. No, that one. And it'd give us that. And then, quite frankly, seeing as we're at object level, you could just go modify layout and put it in its space. But you're going to get odd seam lines where it's quite visible here on the edges. So it might be better to go UV editor, delete UVs, and go UV planar, best plane, apply, and that's top down, which isn't too bad. B on here. If we close that, if we just go to the UV editing window, it's that. So it's all one box at the moment now. And so if we're mainly going to be looking at it from above, we just want the textures to track around the sides quite nicely there. So what I might have a tendency to do is go to Edge, double click on that, and in the cut, so you go cut, double click that one, you go cut, double click that one, I think that's right. Let's see whether I've got the right one or not there. Cut. I think that's right. So we should get one of those, and you go unfold, get the other one, go unfold. Right, and this one is going to stretch oddly, so I'm just going to go get that one, cut that one, and cut that. This is just to get it to go just that little bit flatter. Cut that one. So I'm just doing the corners there, cutting those, and so now if I go back to its normal sort of like UV shell mode, then it'll lay absolutely flat and get less distortion. So if I go E, I can rotate that one until it's nicely uppy downy, get that one, rotate that one until it's fairly uppy downy, and then go back to here, go object mode, and then just go modify layout, and it'll give me that. So that's cool, we're done. Go back to general mode. So for that, I've got some, I'm stuck in some just general sort of textures that I just drew in Photoshop. So I've got that done there. I'm going to delete by type history and freeze transforms, and then I'm going to add a texture to it just to see where we're going with this. So add new material, Arnold shader, standard surface, and colour. I'm going to put floor tile on it, so I'm going to go file, and then in here somewhere I should have check tiles. That one. And I just drew this in Photoshop, so I use a lot of the noise and blur stuff to make it happen. Right, so there's like that. They're huge, so that's not amazing. So what I'm going to do is go here, change its name to titles. Let's check title. There you go. And that, now I know what it's called, so I'm going to make it less shiny. So I'm going to make it 7. It's a little bit shiny. So I'll go to the hyper shade. And now I should be able to find it, check tiles. So you can see all bugs textures are in there. And you see they're red because they're referenced in. So check tiles is the new one. You can graph it there. and go to its place node and get it to repeat 8 times, something like that. That's a bit small now. Let's change that again. There's a 5 times. 5 times. Yeah, that'll do. And just to see what that looks like, if I just put a, I'm going to give him a headlight, I think. So we'll light the space properly, but we'll give him his own little light. So I'm going to go rendering, and I'm going to get a point light, which we can't see. So I'm going to go show viewport display lights. There we go, so we can see them. And I'm going to give it an intensity of 200. I'm just going to go into the Arnold bits, change its samples to 3, because we need no grain in there, please. Cast shadows is okay. Radius, just to soften the shadows off a little bit, I'm going to give it a radius of 0.5, not 0.2. 0.5, there we go. And that will look like that. That's okay, but this is a bit dull and flat. I might go and change his gold sword actually. Right, I'll just get rid of the grid now. So to try and get this to pick up a little bit more light and look a bit more interesting, we can go back into let's pick it up here for a start. Check tiles there. Geometry, bump mapping. I've got a bump map for it, which I used using the emboss filter in Photoshop. So I should have something here. We'll go to check tiles bump. There we go, and that's just the emboss filter. So it's going to be in the wrong place for a start. So let's just go and have a look at that back in Hypershade again. So check tiles, just that one. So there's the bump and there's that, but we want it to tile like that one, so I'm going to get rid of its place node, and then I'm going to get the UV outs, put them in there. So now this will tile in exactly the same way that one will tile, so its bumpness will be in the right place. And there's its bump node there. It's going to be too bumpy, so I'm going to change its bump depth to 0.3, just to knock it back a bit. And then now if we render it, it'll just put that little bit of grain in there, which would be nice. And it will catch the light slightly differently. So there you go, there's a bit of bump to that. Obviously when you get more complicated, there could be a displacement map, various other bits and pieces. But that's how you get bump and the texture to tile in the same way, and how you get a bump into the shader. So that's the floor. Right. I think I'll leave that there. So we'll make the floor, make the shader, and then I'll do another quick tutorial which does some more bits. So that's starting out a floor plane.